going on, guys? I'm back with another Valentine's Day review, and today we're going to be talking about a film that I will always have a special place in my heart for, and that's 50 First Dates. Now, the story is a bit of an odd one, yet in its own way, it's fairly original and a very fun watch. Off the bat, it may be a bit hard to get into it due to the way they establish our main character, Adam Sandler of course, but once the twist happens at the end of the first act, it really takes a turn for the better. In most aspects. Now, it is predictable in the steps going forward, but at its core, it's a fun watch while also balancing the funny and emotional tones pretty well, and that's saying something for an Adam Sandler film. As mentioned, it can be a bit far-fetched, but if you can get yourself into the concept and take it for what it is, it makes for a pretty enjoyable time with a couple creative scenes. Although the story was a fun watch in its own right, and it carries a decent load, the selling point to me was the characters. Sandler's character may not be desirable to start off with, being the sort of asshole towards women, but as time passes, his character arc and development becomes quite sweet, and you really can't help but admire his charm and creativity with his deep bag of tricks. Sandler doesn't really break down any barriers here from a character standpoint, very much just playing himself, but if you're an avid Adam Sandler enjoyer like myself, you can certainly find enjoyment in his character. With Drew Barrymore, she too doesn't put out this Oscar-worthy performance, but she fits the bill well, doing a really good job bouncing off the other characters, especially Adam Sandler. Barrymore and Sandler are always a joy to watch when they're acting together, and it doesn't stop here, where their chemistry and bond is well recognized, going through multiple trials and tribulations, beating that cliche aspect of being good all along, then falling out, then coming back together. Throughout the whole film, they more so a challenge, opposed to being in love until they weren't, which I found to be a pretty sweet touch. As far as the side characters go, in basically all the Adam Sandler films, there's at least going to be one character that'll turn you off or you just won't really enjoy. But for me, they all worked really well and were just a blast. Now, I'm going to butcher some names here, so bear with me. But from Sean Astin to Louisa Strauss to Amy Hill to the Hawaiian cook, I can't even remember his name, and especially Rob Schneider. They all had their own moments to shine and get a good laugh, where they all really helped enhance and balance the tones at hand. When it comes to the screenplay, it doesn't necessarily pop off the page, but I would be lying if I said there wasn't any high or good moments. Although the jokes are inconsistent, again, Adam Sandler film, but the ones that do work hit really well for me, having tons of funny one-liners, especially from Rob Schneider's character. The film also hit some pretty unexpected good emotional beats between our two leads, where they did a good job balancing the comedy with the emotions. Although this film will always be a pleasure to watch for me, there's some real evident issues with the film, starting with the plot holes. There are just some aspects that don't really add up nor follow their own rules that they set, where you say to yourself, wait a minute, how did this happen when this just happened before that? My next issue, and I'm reluctant to say because Adam Sandler is my favorite actor of all time, as I mentioned many times before, but his character sometimes just doesn't really do it for me. He isn't really the most engaging protagonist in film, where he doesn't really put on much of a character, and the character he does play, he can come off kind of unappetizing at times. The way his character is introduced is certainly necessary for his arc, but it can almost completely turn you off immediately with how almost maniacal he can be. To back onto that point, although his character is fairly well understood, there really was no development in why Sandler falls for Barrymore. Nothing was really established as to why she was the one for him, outside of maybe her good looks, which again, isn't really the best look and come off kind of shallow. And my last issue, outside of some nitpicks of course, is with the comedy. Inevitably, especially in a Sandler film, the comedy can be real hit or miss, and the jokes that don't hit can come off really cringy and fairly immature at times. Overall, 50 First Dates is not perfect, but like Barrymore and Sandler's relationship, it's my kind of perfect. The film isn't going to introduce any new feelings or break down any barriers, but for me, it works for what it is. 50 First Dates gets a 5 out of 10 from me. Let me know what you think about 50 First Dates in the comments below, and let me know what film you'd like to see me review next. See you guys in the next one.